So, you've just found the perfect Rust build spot. You place down a simple 2x1, but as the wipe progresses, your base gets weaker and most players would move out. Or, expand your boring old 2x1 into my newest base design, the Anchor. Easily one of the best bases on my channel, this insane double bunker will last you for the entire wipe. It incorporates 2 sets of bedrooms with an open core for easy retakes, plus a cozy yet spacious second floor for you and a teammate. This base is not only great at defending online raids, but also offlines with its 2 separate bunkers into your separate loot room, and of course, into your 2x1. This simple and cheap starter means you don't have to commit to any areas before you begin the main base. With no floor stacking, wall stacking, or multi-TC buildouts, if you're a casual player looking for a strong yet cheap base, then this is for you. Before we start building, let me show you a tour of this cozy base. Through a simple 3-door airlock, we'll get to some drop boxes on the right, as well as our peek down from the bedroom. We can follow the ramp behind us up to the 3rd floor. The door on the left will lead us to our beds, as well as a couple large boxes for extra kits. The single door will bring us to the roof, and you can see the double doors make for a nice airlock. Up here on the roof, you have a total of 8 wide gap, no build out peek downs, and there's plenty of different angles for close or long range fights. The other single door entrance up here on the roof will bring us to our battery on the right, and to the left we'll have another bedroom with some more boxes and a second peek down into the core. Let's jump back downstairs and continue on the tour from the 2nd level. Entering this square, behind us underneath the roof is our first drop down bunker. We can only open this from downstairs in the 2x1, so we'll come back to this later. Straight ahead we have a 4-box loot room guarded by an optional auto turret. You'll also have noticed these 2 symmetrical single doors, which will lead outside to a few more peaks, and also some ankle biters up onto the roof behind us. A couple garage doors later, and we've got our 2nd bedroom peak, and of course, the drop down bunker. As you can see, we can't go much further from up top, so let's spawn down below in one of our 2 bags. Down here, we have our workbench, and in our first square, along with some boxes, we have the twig to our secondary bunker. One more door to our right will take us to a 5-box loot room with the TC, the upkeep of which is on your screen now. And finally, behind this optional armored door, we have some electric furnaces, and of course the twig to our 2x1 drop down. Replacing the bunker is just as easy. Simply place in a triangle roof tile through these 2 half walls, followed by triangle stairs on top. Upgrade the stairs, and your base is now 8 rockets more expensive to raid through doors. Once the twig is gone in the core, we can drop down to the 2nd mini bunker and find 4 more large boxes of storage. To seal the mini bunker, place this triangle twig in the core, followed by a triangle staircase on top. And that will complete the tour. So with that said, let's get right into the base build. I've designed the starter to be as cheap as possible, keeping your farm costs low for early wipe. We'll begin by sealing off the first half of the 2x1, and don't forget to add these 2 half walls in your triangle. While I add some roof pieces, let's set a like goal on this video. Since you guys absolutely smashed the goal last time, I'll be a little more ambitious and ask for 400 likes. And I really appreciate all the recent support. Your guys' comments mean so much to me. Now with the first section of the starter complete, we can move on to building the 2x1. The next expansion is very simple, just don't forget to add in these half walls on the left side of our square. You can then place a full wall in front of the door and one for the airlock. Lastly, add these 2 wall frames, then some roof tiles and doors to seal everything in. For some extra box space in our TC room, head outside and add this triangle into your square. Next, we'll build in all 5 boxes around your TC. If you're having trouble placing in the box, you can upgrade this middle wall frame to metal and it should fit. To save some time, I won't show the placement of all the deployables, but feel free to customize the core and make it your own. At this point, your 2x1 starter is finished. Now we can save up some resources and begin the expansion. Off the back side of the base, we'll add in the following 5 triangle foundations. We'll also build this triangle jump up to the roof, which we'll use later once we place in our drop down. For the drop down chute, simply seal off your door path with a wall and a triangle floor frame on top. Directly above our door, we'll place another wall frame, then a full wall on the left side, and a half wall and low wall on the right. As most of you know, these bases are designed for official Rust servers, but I'd be curious to know how many of you play modded, so head down to the comments and let me know your preferred server. Once you've researched garage door, replace them for all the double doors in your 2x1. This isn't a super important step, but remember to do this as soon as you get the doors. For the jump up, we'll use 3 furnaces, and I highly recommend getting metal cooking in all of these right away. Your second version of the starter is now complete, and note that you can even seal the bunker in this version of the base. Once you've cooked up some metal frags, we can begin the third step expansion. After honeycombing these 2 triangles, run around the outside of your base and upgrade all of the walls that are still stone on the outside to metal. The foundations can stay stone for now as they won't affect the raid cost, but definitely remember to upgrade the roof tiles, including the roof piece inside your upstairs airlock. Then we can add in the outer foundations on the corners of the base. Now on the back side of the base near the drop-down chute, we'll honeycomb both of the open triangle foundations to metal like this. On the front side, we'll add in these 3 walls, which will eventually be our secondary bunker. And built off of our original jump up, we'll place a second one to get up to the roof. Now our base is currently weak from top-down raids, so let's add some more security with a second floor. We'll start by placing our single door frames on top of a half wall. Make sure they're rotated the same way as mine, so that the hard side is facing in on the door frame. We can also place some single doors on these, just make sure they're swinging inward towards your 2x1. Then we'll fill in the corners, starting with the metal wall here next to the drop-down, and one across on the opposite end. In front of our jump up, we'll place in a single door. This can just be stone, and in between these 2, we'll place in 2 low walls like this. Then let's seal everything off and add some roof access. Start with a triangle roof tile facing inward towards your squares. On top of the drop down, we can place in a triangle floor frame, then fill in the roof with metal. Build yourself a simple roof access. And downstairs, I'll add a single door on the front, swinging outward, which will eventually make a nice airlock. When you get a chance, replace these 2 double doors going to your drop down for garage doors. Also, you can upgrade all of these back walls to metal. Then we'll add some splash protection for our bunker with a half wall and floor tile on top. This also makes a great spot for an auto turret. On the opposite side, place in a full wall for the airlock, and then some wall frames and add in doors. At this point of the build, we need to focus our attention on sealing off these vulnerable single doors. These peaks are also super useful, especially in early game wipe. To add a 4-box loot room in the center, upgrade this wall frame to either metal or a DLC skin. You can then line the campfire up with the center of this roof tile and place boxes all around. Once we've researched or found some embrasures, you can add them in the window peaks and also add campfires at your feet for better angles. I've went ahead and added this on both sides. Let's drop down to our second bunker and add in the loot room with a garage door. With this portion of the base finished, let's move on to the next step and honeycomb a little more on the outside. We'll start by honeycombing the 2 triangles we missed from before in metal. Then add in a roof ramp on both sides of the squares, facing inward towards the center of your base. Don't forget to add walls sealing in both sides of the ramp, and do the same thing on the opposite end. Next, up on the second floor, we'll honeycomb all of the open triangles with stone. Lastly, for our front door, we'll add another single door frame and a window frame. This section of the base is now complete, and we'll begin working on the bedrooms next. For this last square honeycomb, we're going to do things a little bit differently. Firstly, place 2 metal walls on both sides. Then in the front, a full wall and a half wall on top. The half wall will allow us to place 2 separate floor tiles, which we'll use for the bedroom, and one for our Dropbox room. Once you've upgraded those floors to stone, we can seal everything in with metal walls. I'll complete the same steps on the opposite end of the base to complete the other bedroom. Upstairs on the roof, we'll add in the final layer of our bedroom. And I'm going to upgrade the original Dropdown to metal. Then add doors. The same will go for the opposite side. And this triangle will be for a battery, or if you choose to not use electricity, you can make this a locker instead. This step is almost complete. All that's left to do is add some box space into the bedrooms, and for this, add in a half wall, followed by a square floor tile, and lastly, a triangle tile. Do the same thing on both sides of the base. Upgrade the 2 twig triangles to stone. You can then place boxes on top, and 2 beds down below. Back downstairs at the front door, let's add in our ramp and Dropbox room. If you want a repair bench in your base, disregard the ramp and place that on one of the sides instead. This auto turret is optional, but if you have it, I recommend placing one here. Now, let's get into the 2x1 upgrades. I'll start by removing any of the unnecessary or old deployables. Also, if you haven't already, remove the back double door, and I'll pick up the 5th box next to our TC so we can reach the back wall. You don't have to have all these upgrades done in one step, but do them as you progress throughout the wipe. The door to your main bunker twig can either be a garage door, or if you find one, use an armored door. I like to make this square a 4-box loot room as well if I'm playing solo, or a 3-box loot room if I'm playing with a friend. To place these boxes in properly, upgrade this other frame to metal, or again, a DLC stone skin. Your tier 2 or 3 can fit nicely up against this back wall, place a small box underneath, and your bag next to the furnace. As I mentioned, if you're playing with a friend, remove this close box and place your second bag like this. Just make sure this bag doesn't block the triangle behind you, which will allow you to seal off your second bunker. Another addition could be adding these electric furnaces in your back twig room, but with that, the bunker is complete. So let's move on to the last step of the base, the peak down and window floor. We'll start by adding triangle floor frames and wall frames on top on all 4 sides of the square honeycomb. Now back on the roof, we'll begin the floor by building in these floor tiles on either side of the ankle biters. Then on the back side, you can place in 2 window frames and upgrade them either to metal or stone. After those are built, demolish the floor tiles and add triangle tiles in their place. If you want to cheap out on metal, you can upgrade these triangles to stone. Now repeat the same steps on the opposite side. Once these are complete, you can add roof pieces off of both of these triangles. Just make sure it's the regular stone skin, as they keep you from falling down through your peaks. To finish your roof floor, add windows on top of all 4 wall frames. You can use either vertical or horizontal embrasures, it won't make much of a difference in terms of the peaks. I just prefer the vertical ones for this base. And here's an optional step to add a vending machine bunker on top of your roof. As you can see, you won't be able to loot it from the side, and the only way to open the vending machine is to place a floor and then a roof piece on top. And that will complete the base build. I hope you guys enjoy using this in your future wipes. Let me know what you thought of it in the comments, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.